Everybody, thank you for being with us and being patient. We were able to reach an agreement in the early morning hours this morning, and some have had naps, some have not, but I think everybody got a shower at least, so that's a good thing. I'm going to ask Senator Schaefer if he would do an invocation for us, please.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to gather together as a General Assembly and as a Committee on Conference. Appreciate the opportunity that we've had to make important decisions and for the resolution of some of the issues that have in front of us. We ask your continued wisdom as we complete this session of the General Assembly and pray that all of our actions are pleasing in your eyes. In the name of your Son, we pray. Amen.
Amen. You want to open up with some comments? Make something.
I always think about Pamela and John in these chairs here. Mr. Chairman, I just want to say that while our state has challenges, I think that we've produced a budget that moves the state forward, and I just want to publicly thank you and the conferees and the Lieutenant Governor and our conferees for working together and publicly acknowledge the role of the governor in this whole process, and that he has been forthcoming and very supportive in trying to find a way to make this process work. And I really appreciate that, and I know that you do too. And personally, I just appreciate the opportunity to work with you. And I wouldn't say anything publicly I haven't already told you privately, but thank you, sir. And there's some good things in our budget. We obviously I think you're going to mention the new revenue that has been passed on to Medicaid. But there's some good news as things in fully funding equalization and eliminating the cut to school nutrition in our budget, the funding of Gwinnett and agricultural initiatives that you've led, $8 million or so for technical colleges to help their budget, and the 6.5 that the governor had provided earlier in his budget for our strategic initiatives and helping the students with high tuition courses. We think will help us in truck driving schools and early childhood and health related professions and economic development. We've got new funds in there for REBA and for One Georgia to help our state continue to aggressively pursue economic development. I'll let you talk about a couple of initiatives in Medicaid if you want to, and that were initiatives that the House worked on. Also in human services, if you want to talk about out-of-home care, I'll let you talk about that as well. But it's been a good process, and certainly the governor has assisted us in funding bonds for investment all over the state. And as I said, I believe that the sum total of our efforts is a budget that moves our state forward, and as we work to continue our recovery from the recession. I think Georgia's days are bright ahead. This budget reflects that.
Mr. Chairman, I'd echo the comments you made, and certainly appreciate working with you. It's been my pleasure to call you my friend, and while we don't always agree on everything, we figure out a way to agreeably disagree sometimes, but always work out the differences in a way that I think that one way or the other, all 10 million Georgians benefit. I'd like to thank our staff and your staff for the hours and hours and hours and hours that they've put in over the last 3 or 4 weeks especially. And Teresa McCartney with OPB and Chris Riley and especially the governor with their help that they've brought to the table as well, and just kind of helping us see through some issues and shedding additional light at times on different things that we need to go back and take a second look at sometimes. And as you alluded to, the governor did agree to roll in some additional tobacco settlement funds, about $56 million of additional tobacco settlement funds in this year's budget as part of a supplemental agreement that has been reached that was, I think, a multi-state settlement that was reached there, and we've plowed that back into Medicaid growth because we know that that is a program that still continues to face challenges, and of course it's in the interest of all Georgians that we make sure that they're healthy, and a lot of times it's easy to prevent them getting sick, or at least catch stuff on the early end instead of letting it get out of hand, and those dollars will certainly go toward that. You mentioned several issues, and within the Medicaid piece, we were able to go back in and eliminate the 0.74% provider rate cut that had been proposed initially. On the CPT and E&M codes that were proposed as well, we're able to go in and hold those providers harmless. A lot of those pediatric providers have not seen an increase in 8 or 10 years, and so we were able to hold them harmless there, and I think that's going to be a great benefit to the state as a whole. One of the things that you mentioned that was an initiative that we looked at on the House side, dealing with out-of-home care providers, dealing with a lot of the kids that are not special needs kids, or kids that just don't fit into a regular foster home environment, dealt with in our RTCs, and we've agreed to increase that rate by about 3%, about $4.8 million there that we've been able to do. Also in education, we were able to follow the Education Study Commission findings on doing some increases in school nurse program, and I think that, again, students across this entire state are going to benefit from that. And as you mentioned earlier too, the governor had fully funded equalization growth, and of course training and experience growth for the step increases for our teachers. A lot of good things, I think, scattered throughout the budget, and a lot of priorities of both the House and the Senate that we've been able to address. And again, I just want to tell you I appreciate the work that y'all done and the help that y'all been in getting us there. We were able to do some House and Senate priorities on bonding initiatives that affect the entire state, whether it's from our colleges and technical schools all the way down to some very small items, some things just as simple as some equipment replacement for fire training down at the Georgia Public Safety Training Center. We were able to do some work there to help them get some new and updated equipment as well. So I feel good. There was a time there that I was wondering if we'd ever get there, but I appreciate you hanging in there, and our staff's hanging in there, and the governor's folks hanging in there with us to get to where we were, or where we are. And we're able to also go back in on the tuition equalization grants and put them back at the $700 level. I know a lot of folks have a good bit of interest in that, so just want to make sure everybody understands that as well. So anyway,
initiative helps libraries fund in there to replace computers around the state as well as in R&R.
Right.
And we funded 3 libraries as well. So all in all, it's a good effort, and we believe that next year we can get it done in 8-5 setting instead of all.
Well,
that'll certainly be our goal.
We've been fortunate the last couple of years. We've been able to do that. This year presented a few challenges that we hadn't seen, and the thing about it, we didn't give up and walk away from it. We were able to get there, and that's all that matters in the end. And I look forward to signing the conference committee report. I want to ask my conferees if they've got any comments they would like to make. Mr. Leader?
Can't add anything to that.
Thanks
to everybody.
Agree with everything you said.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
Nothing but praise for the chairman of the 2 appropriations committees and the members of the staff. They did a tremendous job. I got home at 3 o'clock this morning from the Capitol. I know y'all were still here working. For that, we're all very grateful.
Well,
Senator Chance echoes that as well. Were he here?
yeah.
He is actually in the building.
We do need a signature from him at some point here in the next few minutes. So, but anyway,
We're ready to sign when you're ready to sign.
we're ready to go.